Mountains of cash tumbling out and heaps of gold dug up were just a glimpse of the Tower of Graft that was unearthed in West Bengal. And now there is an all-out fight between the BJP and the TMC as a Nabanna Abhiyan was carried out by the Bharatiya Janata Party today across West Bengal. Visuals from the capital city of the state, Opposition BJP gave a call to march the secretariat against what they call blind corruption on Mamta's watch. 10 images that show how lathis were rained on the protesters. There are also complaints of how women were also not spared. Now the BJP has approached the Calcutta High Court against what they say are excesses carried out against their workers. Similarly, a petition has been made to the National Commission of Women as well, especially after there were images of how women were singled out and were beaten by policemen. The question, though, is that even as there is a trading of charges between both the parties, remember, there were cases of arson and stone pelting reported. The Trinamool Congress said it's complete anarchy that has been unleashed on the streets of West Bengal by the BJP and that policemen were being beaten up. The question remains, who is responsible for the violence in West Bengal today?
Shells are now being fired. Tear gas shells are now being fired over the protesters. They are firing protester tear gas shells. Every time they are finding an aggression, they are firing tear gas shells on the protesters. There you see more BJP workers have been arrested.
All right, in fact, right at the top, we are joined by leader of the BJP and former member of parliament of the Rajya Sabha, Swapan Dasgupta, who was himself participating in the march today. So first, begin by telling us what happened. The Trinamool Congress government is saying your party unleashed violence, the police retaliated. What did you see?
This was a planned program of protest against the mounting corruption of the Trinamool Congress. And it was labeled Nabanna Chalo, which means now Nabanna is the headquarters of the West Bengal government, the main offices of the West Bengal government. It's located in Howrah district, just across the river from Kolkata. There were supposed to be 3 marches which were converging on that. The first 2 marches were in Howrah district, one in Howrah Maidan and one in a place called Shatragachi. The third was one from Calcutta, which was supposed to go across the bridge. Now, what happened was the first 2 rallies were declared unlawful by the Trinamool Congress overnight, last night. And this morning, everybody was prevented from massing there to the extent that actual barricades made of steel were welded onto the national highway to prevent people from coming. Police went into railway stations to actually prevent protesters from getting onto trains despite their reservations, etc., and traveling to Howrah or traveling to Kolkata. This is completely illegal. Them coming into the railways, coming into the railway platforms, etc. And finally, when the rally from Kolkata, which again was scheduled, so much so that the police actually gave traffic notification as to, traffic diversions were created so that people wouldn't get inconvenienced and wouldn't get caught in the traffic. What happened there was that firstly, as soon as they approached the Howrah Bridge, water cannons were fired. Followed that up with tear gas shells. Immediately, it's back to back, within about 40 seconds of each other. And finally, a lathi charge was done, which resulted in a complete bedlam. And then the rally was dispersed as a result of it. You know, they lathi charged their way right across the place. People got injured. I was one of them. Could have been worse, but anyway, let me not talk about myself. I think that what's important is that here was an organized, it was peaceful, high-spirited, but completely peaceful demonstration. And if this is not allowed to take place on a live issue, which concerns everybody in West Bengal, the evidence of corruption, and some of your images which you've shown there, as you can see, you know, how crores of rupees are hidden under beds. You know, 50 crores or something is found in someone's girlfriend's flat. Things like that is there. And it's all linked directly to how much jobs for cash. Education, people who pass their civil services, the subordinate services examination aren't up. The evidence is just that. Then there is coal graft, there's cow smuggling across the border.
But there are also images of your party members who are pelting stones. So the police retaliated because you pelted stones.
The police retaliated because the police has become, in all practical purposes, the real street fighting arm of the Trinamool Congress. There's now no difference whatsoever. The Trinamool Congress is not being able to get people on mass support for itself, so it banks disproportionately on the police.
So why?
There was
why did the water cannon? Why was the water cannon used? Are you saying that the water cannon and the lathi charge was unprovoked? You were doing nothing and they started caning you.
They did. There was nothing. There was just the exact plan was followed. Why was the rally in Howrah and Shatragachi not allowed? Why was it not allowed? Suddenly, overnight, you knew about it, you knew about it for 3 weeks. It was well announced. There was nothing secret about it. There was nothing, you know, this was a well-organized plan of political protest by the state. And it's by a political party, by the main political party. It was being led by the state president. It was being led by the leader of opposition in the West Bengal Assembly. So it was all official, above board. Nothing happened there. They just prevented the rally and took everybody into custody. In Kolkata, what happened was the main rally, they lathi charged at everything. And here's some side issue, some on the sides. Now, God alone knows, in front of the police headquarters, 2 jeeps or something like that went up in flames. I don't know. I cannot vouch that it was actually the party people who did it. I think it needs a certain degree of investigation. All I can say is that a peaceful protest was suppressed today by the Trinamool Congress government in order to hide their own shortcomings, their own corruption, their own maladministration, and the fact today was one evidence that they depend on the police to stamp out the opposition. They cannot fight it politically.
All right. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, Swapan Dasgupta, for having spoken to us, and we hope that you recover soon. A number of people who've been detained, who have been injured. The BJP says this was an action that was born out of malice. Let me take